Ever wondered if you can move to Europe and work there as a self-employed individual? Today, I'm going to be talking about a country that should make that possible for you. Hi, my name is Sadife and I lead the strategy team here at Nomad Capitalist, where we help high net worth individuals go where they're treated best. I want to talk a bit more about Europe today, and specifically relevant to people who want to move to Europe and want to work there. Either it being freelance work or setting up a business, it is all possible. So, what is this country that will allow you to move there under a self-employment visa? We're talking about Italy and their specific program called the Italian Self-Employment Visa. As with every other immigration program or just programs overall, either it being a new company, a new bank account, or even a new tax residency, it is important when you're making the decision to see how to apply, does it work for you really, and what to expect overall, not just out of the program, but out of the country in general. So, is this visa for you? Well, if you are a freelancer, an independent business owner, or just a consultant, and you want to move to Italy and work there, this is just the right option for you. The self-employment visa will allow you to move to Italy and enjoy the lifestyle. As with most immigration programs, when you are moving to a country, what they want to see is that you can financially sustain yourself. So what usually is required here is maybe some bank statements, if you have some consistent income coming in, or maybe even if you have an account that has had a higher balance in the past, let's say at least 12 months, that would be sufficient. Another thing that you can submit as this particular document is tax returns. This could be used to actually show proof that you can financially sustain yourself while in Italy. This is of course applicable more if you're a freelancer, but there is another requirement that might not really be applicable for freelancers, but more for people who want to actually establish a business. Firstly, it's important to note that you need to actually register the company at the Italian Chamber of Commerce. You need to also show proof of a business plan. So what is that business going to do? What are the goals? What are the projections? What are you expecting from that business? And this way, the Italian government can see whether you can apply for the self-employed visa. Of course, there are some straightforward requirements. For example, you need to have valid travel documents like a passport, and also you will need to have proof of valid healthcare that will cover you while you are living in Italy. When it comes to the step-by-step process on how you can apply, firstly, we will start with gathering the documents. Here is where you will need to gather what I've mentioned so far. What I would recommend is ensuring that you have all of the documents very well prepared, so after you make the application, there is no back and forth. After the documents, what you will need to do is make the application at your nearest Italian consulate. Here is something very important that you need to take into account. Usually, you need to make this appointment much in advance because there is, in most cases, a backlog, and making these appointments does take quite a while. After you have received the approval, you will need to travel to Italy and attend some appointments on ground at the immigration authorities. Once you attend these appointments, then the visa will be finalized and you will get that permit in your passport, which will enable you to stay in Italy and work there. Again, either as a freelancer or maybe setting up your business, depending on what you decide. With this self-employment visa in Italy, you will actually get a lot of benefits. Of course, the first one is living in Italy. You will live in a country with a lot of history, a lot of culture, and great food. Apart from that benefit that you are actually living in Italy, you can travel a bit more freely in Europe and explore different countries. On top of that, as a resident of Italy, you can access their healthcare, which is free healthcare for residents. Also, if after you have moved to Italy, you can actually take advantage of the fact that this particular visa is renewable, and after a few years of living there, you can switch it to a permanent residency permit even, and down the line, you can also apply for Italian citizenship. Now, with Italian citizenship, you must be aware that you cannot really be out of the country for more than 6 months out of the year in order to qualify. And at the time that you are applying, you need to know the language, you need to know the history, and you need to have a lot of ties to the country. You need to make yourself a part of the community. Now, even if it offers a lot of benefits and advantages, it also comes with some disadvantages. Starting firstly with the tax. Of course, living in Italy comes with a higher tax bill, and if you are looking to reduce your tax bill, this might not really be the right option for you. Apart from that, Italy is quite bureaucratic, so extensive paperwork is needed. Patience is really needed when living in Italy, even for a simple bank account opening, because it tends to be quite bureaucratic, and usually these processes of getting something done can be quite slow. On top of that, I really do believe that a bit of a challenge is the language. Even though in Italy a lot of people do speak English because it's a common destination amongst tourists, still it is not as widely spoken. So you will need to take that into account depending on which area or which city you will move to. If you move to one of the biggest cities, maybe this might not be an issue for you. But if you move to one of the smallest cities, you might have some language barrier. On top of that, since one of the requirements to actually get this visa is financial stability, you are kind of reliant on that income to make sure that this visa or this residency is properly maintained. So you need to ensure that your business does well and that income is steady, because if it's not, you risk of losing the residency permit. The Italian self-employment visa is a very common discussion that here at Nomad Capitalist we have with our clients. And I've actually wanted to go through some very frequently asked questions that I get from our clients and just provide you with an answer to those. Can I bring my family members? Yes, you can bring family members, but you need to be careful because in most instances, you firstly need to get the residency permit or the self-employment visa, and then your family members need to apply for family reunification. What type of work does qualify for the self-employment visa? Most freelance or self-employment work does qualify, but if you have some very specific business idea, I would recommend firstly going through and doing some due diligence on that, and then considering applying for this residency permit. Probably one of the most common questions that we get is, how long does approval take? Processing time can vary, and to be honest, it greatly depends between consulates, because one of the most important steps, as mentioned, for the self-employment visa is applying at the consulate of your residency. So for example, if you are from the US, making that appointment might take a few months. And if you're in Canada, it might take 1 more month. In Australia, it might be quicker. So it just depends on the workload of the consulate at the place where you are a resident of. If you are someone who is considering moving abroad, and specifically to Europe and Italy, and you want to build your career and enjoy that lifestyle that Italy has to offer, then this option should be the right one for you. But if you are wondering what other options there might be, you can always go to our website at nomadcapitalist.com/apply and become a client where we will evaluate the best option for you. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. My name is Sadife Destani Mehmed, and I'll see you on the next video.
This is how to live like a king in Medellin.
This is Medellin like you've never seen it before.